Good morning and welcome to our March edition of our Exchange Reseller meeting. We thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to jump into some 2025 tracking numbers, how many products, how many resellers, how many countries. Then we're going to delve into some news and some new improvements, some new additions to Exchange, particularly the addition of marketing assets. So you guys are normally getting product details, screenshots, but what we've added now is the ability to obtain some tools that will arm you to sell the products, some competitive analysis, and extra marketing info that should help you push the products to the right customers. We're also going to talk about some Stripe updates. So we have Pat Lafferty from our IT department that's going to pop in and give us a demonstration on that. And then we have some presenters from Bleass, Audiomodern, and Modalics. Now, these demonstrations are all going to be put on by the CEOs. So we got Or and EL here. We have Max from Audiomodern and Vianney from Bleass. Now, we do want to plug our umbrella, IMSTA. IMSTA is the only company that's batting for music software, that's pushing the music software education, fighting against piracy. They're just a small organization, so they rely on your support, the support of the industry, and even non-industry partners like institutions. So they do 5 shows in 3 continents. This year, they're doing 8 shows. So show your support, join IMSTA, because Exchange supports IMSTA, and so should you. Once again, we're going to be talking about Bleass, Audiomodern, and Modalics. They're going to be popping in here in about 15 minutes to show off their products. So Bleass specializes in synths, classic and creative effects, as well as some vocal effects. Audiomodern has just released Playbeat 4, which is a AI-powered drum designer. They also have some other plugins, Chord Jam, Riffer, which they've came on here and shown before, but I know they really want to spotlight their new product. And Modalics, who has Beat Scholar, which is a really interesting way of programming really complex drum patterns, as well as Mindst drums, which is their acoustic drums, as well as their Eon arpeggiator. So we'll be able to see those presentations very shortly. But first, let's just jump into some numbers. So currently, there's 9,315 products in Exchange, 348 vendors, 1,426 resellers in 83 countries. Now, we've purged 350 resellers and 28 vendors recently, and this is due to inactivity. We do this to optimize the system, to improve the system performance. These accounts are not bogging down the system, but we do this as well for security. So Exchange takes security very seriously, and dormant vendors and dormant resellers could be an entry point for malicious attacks. So we do this very regularly. We clean the system, and that's why there's some little changes in the numbers. Resellers are vetted, so not all resellers that apply to Exchange necessarily get a portal. So we've done our cleaning. Looking at the numbers, the macro numbers, the last 12 months running at 8% above the previous 12 months. So we can see that our business is consistently growing. Our business is going like this, while the rest of the business is going like that. So we're happy about the software business, and 2024 is trending 1% year to date above 2023. So we're looking at a very good 2025 prediction so far. Now, this is a very important thing we want to talk about, is adapting. So very recently, we had a company here locally in Toronto that has gone out of business 59 years after opening. And this can be attributed to not adapting. We say adapt or die. We here at Exchange have narrowed this down to a few things that you can do to make sure that your company stays relevant. We've looked at reseller portals in Exchange, and we see the ones that are succeeding. What are they doing? Now, the first thing is connecting to an order processing plugin for your shopping cart. At the very least, you want to have some sort of plugin, BigCommerce, Magento, Shopify. You go into the Shopify store, you'll be able to download the Exchange plugin in order to process these orders for you. There's no reason to be manually logging into Exchange, going to the price list, adding the product to the cart, checking out. Ideally, you would want to connect the Athabasca API. There is a subscription and web asset API, but Athabasca encapsulates all of this. So you'll get the subscription calls, things like subscription start, subscription stop. You'll be able to pull product lists, pull promotion lists, pull your orders, pull pricing. So really, integration, we feel, is one of the keys to success in Exchange. And sometimes where resellers can fail is the IT team getting bad IT advice, or the IT team saying that it's too hard to switch, or it's too difficult to switch. In the case of the company that went under, they couldn't even update their website. So you get one IT person in, they like to use a specific application. After a while, maybe they leave, somebody else comes in, and I need to add on to that. And then it gets to a point where you might need to rebuild the whole thing from the ground up. And certain resellers do not want to take that burden of work on them. And sometimes there's a revolving door of IT people. So you want to make sure that you have a good IT team that isn't in some other country. You want to hire locally. You want to have an IT team that can come meet with you and fix issues that you may have. You don't want to have to rely on an IT team that's outside of the country just to save a little bit of money. You know, is it worth saving pennies at the risk of losing your whole business, right? Essentially is what we're trying to say. So get in touch with us here at Exchange. We'll help you get this done. You need to get integrated. This will save you a lot of time. You may have to do a little bit of work at first, but it's a lot less work than running into issues down the line. So adapt or die. Now, a new feature that we're rolling out very soon, this is already on the vendor side. So we're on the vendor side populating these fields. But once it's rolled out, you'll be armed with everything you need to sell this product. So in your product details, you'll have your short description, long description, but you'll also have, why was this product created? What problems does it solve? What are the top 5 key features? You don't need to know all the features, but at least the main wow factor features of the product. You'll know who your target market is, so who is the customer. There's going to be competitive analysis within Exchange. It'll tell you all the competing products and what separates this product as opposed to the competition. Also, there'll be details in there on how to sell the product. Is there a specific feature that you want to push? What is it that the customers are looking for? So this marketing info section should be rolled out soon. And once again, this will arm you with everything you need to sell the products better. So now we'll call on Pat, our IT guy, to talk about the new stripe splitting in Exchange. Pat, are you there?
All right. Thank you very much, Rajiv. Good morning, everyone. So a quick overview of our Stripe and our prepay platforms. Basically, with prepay, a vendor puts you on prepay on a vendor by vendor basis. And what this means is that anytime you place an order, you have to pay for that order right there as the order is happening. And for the reseller side, you store a card using our card setup tool. And then the benefit of that is that you don't have to deal with any manual billing or invoicing. It's just happening all automatically. Now, what we're doing is we've decided to restructure how our platform is organized. So essentially, we are splitting off into a US Stripe platform and a global Stripe platform. So for the bird's eye view here is basically we are taking our current platform right now that everyone's using, we're pulling out all of the US vendors and all of the US transactions to a separate US Stripe platform. And then the existing platform is just going to serve the global market, excluding the US. So for resellers, if you have already stored a card in our Stripe platform, that card is now going to be considered part of the global platform, not the US platform, because that one is new. So what this means for you resellers is that if you are doing prepay orders with US vendors, you will need to go into Exchange and add a second card in order to associate it with the US platform. If you are not using prepay, or you're doing prepay but with Europeans or anyone who is not based in the US, you do not need to take any action. But like I said, if you are doing prepay with US, we really want to encourage you to add a card as soon as possible. Like you can even just stop listening to me right now, go to Exchange. It'll take 30 seconds to put a card in, come back and see Rajiv. So this is going to affect this month. Like this is live now, but we need to wait for resellers to basically get set up first, and then we're going to have our vendors move over, and then by the end of April, we're going to be considered that migration to be complete. And we will be reaching out to anyone who's having difficulties or who haven't switched over in a few weeks. So if anyone has questions about this restructuring, feel free to put in the chat, or you can open up a ticket, or you can email support@exchangemarket.com. But other than that, that's really all I wanted to share with that. So I guess I will hand it back to Rajiv. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pat. I do want to talk about some new vendors, but I do want to kind of circle back and talk about the web assets API. So within Athabasca, there's the web assets API, and we always talk about not curating. Let the customer curate. There's no reason for you to not offer every product that's in Exchange to your customers. And the web assets API is a solution so that you don't have to keep copying and pasting descriptions and adding images manually. The web assets API will allow you to immediately pull the product descriptions and the images exactly how you want it displayed on your website with just a few clicks. So I did just want to mention the web assets. Now, we do have some new vendors that have joined Exchange. So we just want to give them a warm welcome. And that's Spitfire and Vienna. So Vienna Symphonic Library has joined Exchange, as well as Spitfire. You guys may have heard of these companies. They both specialize in the sound libraries, particularly orchestral and scoring libraries. Now, Spitfire is already active on Exchange. So if you're looking to sell Spitfire within your region, if you go to your Connect tab, you should see them if they made your region active, like available to be visible. Now, Vienna is still in the process of setting up their products, so you're not going to see Vienna just yet, but very soon. We're just working on getting the products set up. So maybe within the next week or two, if you check your Connect tab, you'll see Vienna Symphonic Library in there as well. All right. Now, one thing I want to mention is we are offering free portal review. So we want to make sure that you're taking advantage of all the features and the services that Exchange has available. You can find out how to optimize your portal and learn where to focus your efforts to get the best returns and the highest sales. So we'll do one-on-one portal review with you. We'll go in, we'll take a look. at your products. Take a look at your promotions. See if there's any holes in your business. Maybe there's a particular brand that you're not selling that maybe you should, depending on your customer base. And these are all things that we can help you with. We don't just want you to sign up and then we run away. We're here to support you. We're here to help you. So make sure you use us as a resource to help you in your exchange business. You can contact me. You can contact anybody here at Exchange. Michael Sforza does a lot of one-on-one reseller training, which you'll see him in your e-newsletters. So book a training. Time zones. So your portal is set to your own local time. When a promotion is created and you see the promotion start and end date, the time that you see is your local time, and you can set this in your profile to local time zone. You should also see what your time zone is just within your portal. You should see it within your promo tab, actually. Reseller ratings. So we've rolled out the region-based rating system to rank resellers. This helps our vendors choose which resellers they want to work with. As you saw before, there was 1,426 resellers. That's a lot of resellers for a vendor to manage. So this ranking system is good for the vendor, but it's also good for the resellers that are actively selling products on Exchange. The criteria it's based on sales, yes, but it's also based on how well you do at promotions. How engaged are you with the platform? Are you responding to vendors when they send you an invitation? Do you attend these meetings? Are you selling in all the different product categories, or are you just selling one product? So this is just something to keep in mind. We have rolled out the initial release, but it's still being tweaked here and there. So just know that the vendors are seeing these ratings, and it's rated in 5 stars, 5-star rating system. And with that, it's time to pop into our vendor spotlight. So if I can ask if Vianney from Bleass, if he's ready to present.
Yes, so thank you very much for the invitation. Very happy to be there. Thank you very much for the invitation to present you very quickly the Bleass plugins. So Bleass was founded in 2018 in France, in the north of France, in Lille. And we've developed so far 29 plugins to date, which are focused on music production and especially creative music production. So we are aiming mainly sound designers, but also electronic music producers. And what's different about the Bleass plugins is their creative way of introducing new ways of processing sounds. You see also that we have a great importance on the intuitivity of our interfaces. This comes from the iPad design that we started back in 2018. We can also note that we stress on high stability, very CPU efficient plugins to have a very fluid experience. And all of our plugins, and especially the synthesizers, are fully compatible with MPE controllers. To that end, we've partnered with French hardware manufacturers such as Express TV with a brand new Osmose MPE synthesizer, but also MPE controller, or more recently with French company Embed.me, who has just released an Array MPE controller. So we've tested it with our synthesizers. It's also worth mentioning that the plugins of Bleass are fully compatible with all of platforms, such as the latest Apple devices, as well as with Pro Tools. And it's worth mentioning that we have also a great recognition on the iOS market, because our plugins are also available for the iPad, which helped us a lot to be known in the world. Finally, regarding activating Bleass plugins, it's very straightforward. You get a voucher as a user, which you can change into a serial through the Bleass website. So no iLok activation for this one. I'd like also to stress the fact that we've partnered with many artists, such as Jean-Michel Jarre, with whom we've developed Ion, which is his Infinite album, which is available for iOS. Jordan Rudess, the keyboardist from Dream Theater, with whom we've developed Bleass Sample with 2. And more recently, Can Blaster, a French music producer, with whom we've developed Bleass Arpeggiator. So to focus very quickly on our 5 currently available synthesizer, which price range from free in the case of Bleass Monolith. Feel free to reach me out if you are interested in some of the freebies we can offer to consumers, as well as more advanced synthesizers such as Bleass Megalith, which is a wavetable-based synthesizer, MP, of course. Omega is a FM one, and Alpha is the analog one, and finally Sample with 2. So these are the UIs, and you can see that they share the same ease of use and also intuitivity, where you can follow the sound going from left to right. We've got also a range of what we call the classic effects. So we've recreated some of the best classics, but with our own twist. They are very versatile. So we've got the delay, the reverb, chorus, etc. And they are often sold in a $99 bundle, such as the Bleass Delay, which was our very first plugin back in the days, until more recently, the Bleass Saturator, which can be very extreme. And it's worth mentioning that Bleass Shimmer is among our best-selling plugins in the classic effects range. We've got also a range of creative effects, such as Bleass Dragonfly, which will dynamically change the tremolo frequency according to your MIDI notes. You've got Bleass Phase Mutant, which applies the FM concept on distortion. Bleass Slow Machine, which is a kind of halftime effect with also a motion sequencer. Or more recently, Bleass Fusion, which uses the wave shaper tables, so wave tables, to create very new kinds of distortion using LFOs and modulation. So these are the UIs of our creative effects, to give you a few examples. And they range from $19 to $49. Finally, a range of vocal effects with notably Bleass Voices. So I will end my presentation by making a focus on some of our best-selling plugins, those who are very well welcomed by the market, such as Bleass Voices, which is a unique 12 voices vocal harmonizer, which also has auto-tune, and which you can modulate using MIDI input. And what makes it really interesting and very expressive is its full MP compatibility, which was not available at the market when we released it. Bleass Arpeggiator is a very popular plugin as well, because it introduces brand new ways of arpeggiating. You've got new patterns, like new ways of changing the time. And it's worth mentioning that we've partnered together with Avid to integrate a very custom-made version of Bleass Arpeggiator in order for Pro Tools to showcase their brand new MIDI FX features. So it's available in the latest update for Pro Tools in a special light version. We've got finally Bleass Sample with 2, which is also available for the iPad, and which comes from the vision of Jordan Rudess, who is also a technologist. And it's very easy. You can very easily drag and drop your sample or live record them and use a live sampling manipulation. And we've introduced notably a granular engine in order to offer new ways of using these things. It's also MP compatible. And to finish with, I'm very happy to introduce you to the latest plugin. It is released today. It's just released. It's called Bleass Tides, and it's a brand new delay which focuses on bringing new ways of making delay effects. You've got 11 different feedback processors, a pitch shifter, frequency shifter, ring modulator, as well as stereo LFOs, so to introduce new ways of delaying. and very happy to read it and to present it to you today. It will be priced at $39, and it will be very soon available on the XCHANGE platform. So thank you very much for your time. If you happen to be at Super Booth in Berlin this year, we'll be there with the Bleass team. So feel free to hit me up if you want. Cheers.
That was a great, short and sweet presentation, right to the point. Congrats on the Avid collaboration. That's big news that they're going to offer a stripped down version. Question for you: $39 for Tides. Is that the regular price? Is there?
Yes, it's a regular price. Absolutely, we can of course. We usually make sales at 20% or 30% flash sales, but 39 is indeed the market price.
Okay. Well, 39 is a great price. It doesn't need to necessarily be on intro promo, but the one thing to note is, the first 10 days of the product's release is very important. That's when most of the sales happen. So I encourage all of you guys on this call to connect to Bleass as soon as possible. Vianney, we can get that product loaded up today as soon as possible so that we can get these guys up and running with it. If you do not currently sell Bleass products, at least connect and get this new Tides product up on your e-newsletters, just so you can at least start pushing this new product, and then you can get the rest of the products uploaded, chipped away at it. Within that 10 days, you should have the rest of the products uploaded, but I would suggest to jump on this considering we're at day 1. Thank you, Vianney.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Max from Audiomodern, we wanted to get a exclusive first Playbeat 4 demonstration right from the CEO today. So we're very lucky to have you. Max?
Thanks for inviting me. First of all, I didn't have a presentation ready, such as Bleass. So I don't know if anybody doesn't know our tools. We specialize on mostly sequencer-based randomizers and music creation devices for desktop and the iPad. We have our new Playbeat 4 version out. It's been released 20 days earlier this month, and for this version we focused on some local AI algorithms which we had to combine together. And I don't know if you see my screen. We tried to make it as easy as possible for users to play around with sequencers and drums. So you have a few track channels here that Playbeat can create a drum pattern for you. And you have the option to select if the engine will create a pattern, a new set of sounds, or combined all together. For example, this is a local AI generated pattern, and for ease of use, we have introduced a new screen which you can select some styles for your the user can select some styles to play with. So let's go for techno and with its button. As I said again, Playbeat has designed with local AI algorithms which you can choose specific styles or genres, and the app will try and bring you a new fresh beat for your productions, which can be either a new pattern or a totally new set of sounds based on the genre that you have selected, or both of them, like a complete new pattern with both sounds and beats. So this is a new release. We have released it both for desktop and for the iPad. on the iPad, we have around 1,200 paid users and around 2,300 on the desktop versions, combined both from us directly and from resellers. And I mentioned the numbers because for us it's a little bit we didn't expect it's well taken from the users. So it's like a nice outcome of the new release. So I cannot, I do not know why I cannot share the Ableton sound, but you can go to the website, or there are several videos on YouTube about this. And so the price is currently is on intro offer at 69 euros, and it will go to 89 next month. And also the app comes with expansion packs, where each expansion pack costs 10 euros and has both presets which combine patterns and sounds that the engine can take and manipulate into hundreds of new presets using the local AI algorithms that we have developed in this version. Because the previous version had also expansion packs, the previous expansion packs are also compatible with this new version. So if a user is coming from a previous version and has purchased some expansion pack before, they can still load them up into Playbit 4.
What would you say are the top like 4 or 5 key features of this product here?
Yeah, for me and for all of the users, judging by the forum and support, is the AI local algorithm generation. So a user can pick a style and it will generate hundreds of new beats and sound sets, and complete fresh patterns based on what they want to achieve. So they can generate a new pattern, they can choose the complexity of the drum pattern that they will receive, and they can trigger any of the sequencers, the individual sounds, or also generate a new set of remixes of the current pattern here. So the fresh beat generation, which comes automatically with every click here, is something that most of the users like to utilize.
Any other features you want to spotlight?
No, we focused on the sound and pattern generation for this application, and we think that this besides some additions here and there, some users have asked for MIDI import, which we have a new version today that allows it. So there are always, with software, there never is an end product. At least that's what I think. So we have a lot of tiny requests here and there, but the main aspect that we try to cover very well is the pattern generation and sound generation based on styles. So it's very easy to achieve something very, very quick by choosing your desired styles and click on generate based on complexity, and if you want to generate pattern or sounds only.
If you guys want to see the product in action, they do a lot of marketing. I've seen a lot of advertisements for it and a lot of videos. So if you want to actually hear the product in action, just check out their channel and connect with Audiomodern on Exchange to start selling Playbeat. All right, now we'll hear from Or and El from Modalics to check out Beat Scholar.
Thanks, Rajiv. First of all, thank you all for being here, and my thanks to XCHANGE for letting us show our products. Let me see that this screen share is working. There we go. I'm Or, and with me here is also Eyal, who's the co-founder of Modalics, and we're both musicians and producers in our past and present. And we set out to start Modalics in order to translate what our experience as musicians and composers into both visual interfaces and also sound engines. So what you see here is most of our catalog, I'd say. And I'm going to focus on 3 products specifically, which are Beat Scholar, Mindset Drums, and Eon Arp. So starting with Beat Scholar, I'll tell you a little bit about the product and then we'll go into a proper sound demo. There we go. So the UI here, as you can see, is pretty unique. So what we see in front of us is your run-of-the-mill top toolbar, a sequencer section with these beat pizzas, as we call them. We coined that phrase as far as I know. A pattern area, and then on the bottom, the kit module and our sampler, basically our sound module. The purpose of this product was to sort of change how people compose rhythm in the digital domain. We took inspiration from classic drum machines, but then we connected it with what I said that is our principle of aligning with how musicians think and conceptualize rhythm. So just to give a very simple demonstration of what we have here, I like doing something like this. If we take a single beat here, it's a quarter note, and we play it, you see it, I don't know, I hope you see it, that it's blinking, and it's playing quarter notes. Now, the basic principle is that this beat can be split into several subdivisions. So to create 8 notes, I would do something like this. And triplets, 16th notes. And after that, you know, if you're into music, you know that quintuplets is like everything beyond 4. You know, all the odd numbers are sort of the shadow realm of rhythm, and you can get pretty crazy with it. You can basically do like really intense glitching rhythms. You know, I can go on and split this into, I think we topped it off at like 42 as a subdivision. So that's the basic principle on one beat, but this concept kind of scales up, as you saw before. If I switch back to my default preset, so what I showed was just one beat pizza, but here we have multiple lanes. And as you can see, for instance, the hi-hat lane plays both open and closed hi-hat, and has subdivisions of 8 notes, triplets, and 16th notes at the same time. Now this is fairly unique because in most DAWs or rhythm composers, you're not able to see multiple grids at the same time. And this is a sort of key feature for Beat Scholar, is the fact that this is a sort of open, very open-ended rhythmic playground where you can not only, you know, take off the shackles of lane restrictions and place any drum anywhere. You can also view multiple subdivisions at the same time, and you're free to sort of visualize the rhythm as you see fit within this system of our beat pizzas here. A nice way to show this is these fills over here. So just to sort of hammer this point home, what you see here is an entire drum fill within just one beat, right? So these are several drum phrases. Each one of them contains several drum selections. And I believe that, you know, at least for our tastes, a drum fill is a sort of singular object. I don't really think about any instrument as separate lanes or you know, this complex layout. I think of a musical phrase as sort of its own thing, and then there's another musical phrase next to it. So hopefully this makes sense for you guys. It did for us. So moving on to the kit area here, we have 16 drum pads. They are color coded, as I hope it was clear over here. I forgot to mention. Yeah, naturally, kick drum is red because I don't know what other color would you give a kick drum. And you have snares, rim shots, claps, hi-hats, you know, just about all your necessities. And we have a selection of kits here. Anything from, like, you know, the 707 and 808s and all that, to more like sort of more eclectic sounds. We, you know, sampled and synthesized, you know, it's a curated selection, but a very common use case for Beat Scholar is basically using the sequencer to drive other drum samplers, which I hope I'll have time to show in a bit. And we initially came out with the sampler as a sort of auditioning tool for the sequencer, but a lot of people also ended up using it, so we, you know, eventually added samples and improved our sampler quality and all that. Quickly going over the sounds here, not going knob by knob, but for each drum you have multiple selections of layers, and then ways to affect the envelope, pitch, and all sorts of, you know, basic effects like reverbs, overdrives, compression, crush, etc., etc. And you have a master section here with effects that you know, are applied to the stereo out. Speaking of which, we also have a multi-out mode, so you're able to get individual drum tracks and mix them to your liking. And as I said, one thing that we always show is the fact that you can just simply remove the sampler and then just use the sequencer to drive whatever synth or other drum plugin you want. So aside from that, another cool feature that was highly requested and we added in a later update is the randomizer. So we have this, you know, we have several mechanisms here for randomizing elements in the beat creation, from drum selection to the slicing parameters used. So you can kind of browse and tick on and off whatever you want sliced, like to how many pieces. Step triggering with trigger chance, fill empty, which is a nice feature that, you know, makes sure you're only randomizing the empty slices, and spacing and velocity range. And all of these can also be saved into a separate preset system. So let's say if I want to grab glitchy trappy hats from the hi-hats here, I can apply it to a single pizza and get like all this craziness, or I can apply it to entire lanes like this. So if I were, you know, to clear everything out for a second, I could do something like glitchy trappy hats here, and then grab the zoom interface is driving me nuts, and then grab linear beat maker here and do something like. So this is just with a couple of lanes, I'm able to, in mere seconds, to create a very compact, visually compact beat, and you know, either randomize or just go in by hand and say, you know, do something kind of weird, because we are kind of weird as individuals, so yeah, makes sense. Okay. I'm going to move on to Mindset Drums, and perhaps we'll revisit this when I show you how it integrates with other samplers. So Mindset Drums is over here. So Eyal and I started our path in plugins by designing intelligent sampler instruments, specifically for bass, as you can see here, maybe behind me. This, you know, this plugin is sort of the epitome of what we think an intelligent sampler should be, and applying it to drums has always been a dream of ours. So I'm just gonna let it play for a while, and you know, just hopefully you'll enjoy the sound. So what we set out to do here is to create a seemingly simple acoustic drum VST, but to have it, our goals was to have it be the most musical and realistic sampler possible. And this is done with several key methods. One of them is intensely, very deep sampling. So in terms of the amount of round robins and velocity layers. So just sheer amount of samples always helps. And the other part, and maybe more interesting part, is the intelligent sampler algorithm that interprets MIDI input in real time and allocates contextual sample playback according to what's being fed. So, for instance, we have a built-in MIDI player here, which I'll use. You can naturally also like drag the patterns over here and see what's coming out of it. Maybe I'll do that and just loop it, just in case I want to mess around with the MIDI. So a good way to elaborate on what I said is, for instance, the hi-hat takes into account how long ago it was opened and generates a different sound when it's being closed. So if it has a lot of inertia and it's still moving around quite heavily, it will generate a more robust, what do you call it, like a bark sound. And then if it kind of starts dying out, it will generate an entirely different sound. Each drum was sampled both from a complete stop, so from silence, and then from a previous resonance. And our algorithm takes into account each instrument, if it's currently resonating or not, and then applies the relevant sample. We call it reactive samples because they're reacting to what happened before they're played. And this creates a very harmonically convincing drum sound eventually, because we came to the realization that a drum kit, when it's in full groove and with a good drummer playing it, has this sort of harmonious hum, and we were looking for ways to get that. And this is our best effort in doing that. So each drum here has fairly standard features in terms of what you would expect. So the snare, for instance, has a tune, attack, hold, release, and overlap. Overlap dictates what happens between consecutive samples. And then some unique features like snare zones. So the snare was sampled in fully in 3 zones, and they differ in various aspects like harmonic content and dynamics. Even the leading hand, so you can have a left-handed drummer without the hassle of reversing a real drum kit. If you've ever had a left-handed drummer in your band, you know what I mean. And then a velocity curve, with which you can also split. So to save up on precious programming time, you can have the snare play a rim shot if it's played loud, etc. The hi-hat has some nice features as well. You can have alternate hands on it. I think I can do like a nice little demo here. So this is hi-hat played with one hand and then played with both hands. One hand, both hands. So I don't know if it's coming through, hopefully so. Playing with both hands creates a more natural flow, and playing with one hand has a sort of more stiff feeling to it. And this is a sort of mindset that we made this sampler with. It's all decisions based on actual musicians in the room talking, like maybe you should play the hi-hat like this or like that, and then we create those sort of conversations into features. So this is the basic interface, but naturally we also have this very elaborate mixer. It has both like a main view and all view, which has a bit more information, so you get all the specific instruments. But the main view also allows you to dive in and get your individual mics. So for instance, the kick has 3 microphones and a sub. So there's a sub-synth, because that's a very common use case with kick drums, especially in rock and metal. The snare also has 4 microphones. Both the kick and the snare have a very important feature, which is the bleed mixer. So you're able to control how much any drum is being heard by the captured by the snare microphone or the kick microphone, and that's another key feature that allows us to create very harmonious and convincing drum sounds. Aside from that, you have quite an agile effect area here with drive, bit crusher, compression, EQ, and of course our short and long reverbs. These can also be viewed here in studio reverb and plate reverb. You can set them for the entire kit, and also a master effect section that applies to everything. There's also full support for multi-out, so you can get your multi-out in stereo, which is the current situation, groups, which is the main view here, groups and bass drum and snare mics, or all mics, which is the most complex and complete layout. Yeah, that's about it. I'm trying to cut it short on time, or I'd play you some more presets, and I want to go over to our last demo, which is Eon ARP. So Eon ARP is again on our sequencer side of things, and let me just play it for a second. There we go. Let's do this one. So as you can see, it's a very visual approach again to affecting, melodies and harmonies. It's an arpeggiator that basically allows you to sort of think freely about the contour of what you're doing, the direction of the melody, and gives you a sense of freedom. So the rhythmic engine behind it is basically very similar to what we have in Beat Scholar. So you can have like a complete freedom of the amount of steps and the length of a pattern or the length of a step. So you really can go crazy with this, and without going too much into detail, you can create polyrhythms with this, and as well as simple arps, like. So what's going on right now is we have a built-in collection of chords and MIDI sequences, and what the MIDI that's being fed is laid out on the note grid here, and with you can see numbers here ranging from 0 to 5, 0 to -5, and these dictate degrees of the chord being played. So for instance, hold on one second, let me see if this works. Okay, so I'm holding down one note, which is C, and you can see here that I'm holding C2, which is the middle note, and then C3, 4, 5 above it and below it. So it's laying out just one note across the note grid. Now the same thing happens if I have a MIDI clip here. The same thing happens here when I'm playing this MIDI clip. It takes the notes that are being played here, and you'll see that these numbers switch according to the chord that's being played right now. So let's play it. And if I'll select a more appealing sort of groove. So for somebody like me who is absolutely terrible at playing keys, this is an amazing tool. I use it all the time, just for the reason that I always know what I want in terms of how the part should feel. but I often can't actually technically play it. So this sort of frees me up to say, okay, these are the chords. Let me just figure out, all the other elements aside from the harmony, like stuff like, you can move everything around on and off grid, which is amazing if you want to create more loose feeling grooves. So I can grab multiple notes and then either quantize or move them freely. And you can change dynamics for individual notes. It's being represented here by the color of each note. So this is again another sort of play, this time melodic playground that you can just use to sort of free your mind and accelerate the process of creating harmonies and melodies. And together with Beat Scholar, something cool happens. Even if I just do this for a second. So if you noticed, the pattern lengths changed, and then the groove, played against the 4 on the floor beat with Beat Scholar. It's something that's also quite difficult to achieve with your run-of-the-mill arpeggiators and DAW piano rolls, stuff like that. So I don't know how we are on time. I feel like I've been going on forever. So Rajiv, if that's it, then
if you want to just quickly show the integration.
Right, I'll be happy to. I just wanted to, be sensitive to time.
We got another couple minutes, maybe 2 minutes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can do that. So over here, I have Plugin Buddy, which is a sort of free host that we released in order to better, facilitate the integration of our MIDI sequencers with, any instrument or our own. So right here, I have Beat Scholar as a MIDI plugin on the MIDI effects row. And it's feeding into Mindset Drums. So all I have to do here is to map Mindset Drums into where is it? Beat Scholar map. And then anything I put in here is being played by Mindset Drums. I'm looped here, that's why it kind of jumped. So as I said, this is a fairly common use case for Beat Scholar, and we have users using it with just any even melodic synths. But yeah, that's let's do something like this. Copy and paste this just to kind of play around with the hi-hat. We'll add another lane and then go crazy with kicks and snares. I don't know who set it to 12 fours. That's a terrible idea. Yeah, so that's one type of integration. The other one is the same but with Eon ARP. So we have Eon into this synth, Cubase synth, and Eon is here. So again, Eon isn't using its own synth engine. It's just here for show. It's being fed into the Cubase synth. And the chords, the beautiful chords here, are from our chords section over here. Yeah, so that's just to show where we're at in terms of our compositional plugins and how people use them. We actually really encourage this use case, and we have more features that I didn't get a chance to go over, but you can hit me or Eyal up at any time and ask a more in-depth review of the product. So if you have any questions, I'm here. Otherwise, back to you, Rajiv.
Awesome. Thank you, Or. No, this is, I love the visual approach that you're doing. You're doing something very unique here and pretty much reinventing the way we program drums. So if anybody has any questions for any of our presenters, just pop it in the chat there. And we'd like to say thank you to our presenters, Vianney, Max, and Or. So thank you for joining and showing us these products. If you want to connect to Bleass and Audiomodern, you can do that right directly in your Connect tab through XCHANGE. For Modalics, that is available through Music Marketing. So if you're already connected to Music Marketing, just reach out to your account rep and they'll make sure that you get everything you need to sell Modalics. So key takeaways: support IMSTA, integrate with XCHANGE, Athabasca API, Stripe. So if you're using prepay, you want to have a US-based Stripe credit card, US-based credit card, and a global credit card. And once again, Modalics, you can connect through Music Marketing, and Bleass and Audiomodern you can connect to directly. Thank you guys for joining. And with that, we will see you next month. Thank you.